Here's 3 ways to use AI completely for free right now. You can head over to Ollama, which is a free tool that lets you download and run any AI models directly on your computer. You can do so in your command line, in your terminal. You don't need an API key. You don't need a subscription. There's no data leaving your machine. So this might also be useful if you're trying to do things and you're trying to stay private. You don't want to give everything away to OpenAI, ChatGPT, or whatever for learning if you're not on the enterprise plan. The second thing that you can do is you can use Claude Code as an alternative. Claude Code just leaked their entire source code a couple of days ago. So there's a way that you can actually use that right now without paying for a subscription. No API, no data leaving your machine. You can connect that to any model you want, local or cloud. And the third way you can use AI for free is a couple of tools out there that'll allow you to access them for certain time. And there's ways where you can use those limits almost an infinite and unlimited time, if you so will, to create what you need to do. So here are the models, and I'm going to rank them one by one. We're going to start with the best. Google just released Gemma 4 26B. They just released this a couple of days ago. So you've probably seen it on the news and you've seen people running a lot of tests with this. So what you do is you go to ollama.com and here you have all the open size models. Now what you can do as well is you can just grab a screen grab of this and you can go look up what the different models actually give you in terms of how much RAM you need for them and what kind of power they return. For Gemma 4, you'll need quite a bit of space on your RAM. So usually 32 gigs and up will do the trick. If you have a MacBook Air or a Mac Mini or something smaller and you don't have 32 gigs of RAM, there's a couple of smaller models that you can use as well. So you come here and you can see where you can run this model. You can do it in OpenClaw, OpenCode, Codex, whatever. So if you're thinking of, hey, why don't I run my OpenClaw on Gemma 4, this is exactly where you can do it. So you can literally just copy this command in your terminal, download it, and get it done. Now you can see here what models you can use and the benchmark that they published, comparing them to their other models as well. But really, you don't need all that. Just pull it into your terminal and you can use it in Claude Code. The same thing you can do for models like Qwen, where you can download Qwen and you can use that locally too. So what you can do here is you can just run this here, come back to your terminal, open a new terminal window, copy paste that in there, and it will pull it onto your local machine and let you use that. The third model that is also really powerful and probably comparable to these models with one of the largest context windows is the model by Meta. However, a lot of people argue that it's not so good with coding and other things. So the easiest way to do it is just to try it out and see what it can do. Same thing here, you copy paste this into your terminal and then we can get going. Now, obviously these models are quite big, so you got to have a little internet connection while you're downloading it, and you make sure that you pull the entire thing. You have enough storage for it when you get it onto your machine. If you want to run this in the cloud, you can do so too. You just need to make sure that your VPS server has enough RAM to actually process these models and can do it. Now, an easy way to use all of these models in your IDE is just by simply coming over here to OpenCode AI and grabbing this command here and posting it into your terminal. Doing this will then allow you to connect with any of those models that I mentioned before, big or small, whatever you prefer, and let you do exactly the same things within your infrastructure, within your apps, whatever it may be. We can argue about the final performance of each of these models, but if you're dependent on a subscription and you want to keep things locally, this is the way to do it. So once installed, you come back to your terminal, you type in OpenCode, and then you can see it gives me my entire structure here, and it also has all of these commands. You can connect it to another provider, you can connect it locally, and you can do almost all of the things that you could do with the model otherwise too. It will show you here how much of your context window is used and which model you're using here. So when you come here and select connect the provider, you can go and connect it with any other ones that you see here. You can connect it with your subscription or you can connect it with a local provider. I currently have Gemma 4 on LM Studio. That is another app that you can just download where you can have the models on it. So you can select LM Studio and then we can go over into our LM Studio, grab the API key here, and then you can see here the models that I have available. Now, if you don't have 32 gigs of RAM on your computer and you have like a MacBook Air or something like that, you can also use smaller models like the GLM 4.7 Flash or the Gemma 4e. And then there's a bunch of other models, like for example, Qwen 3.5 distilled from Opus 4.6 and stuff like that, that you could go and play around with and test to see how the results are doing for your specific use case. Then there's Goose AI. I've never really tried this tool before, but it should also run locally. This is run by the company of the former Twitter founder, Jack Dorsey. I don't know if I'm in agreement with everything that he's doing right now, but I think this model should be worth testing. I would always recommend, I think for general kind of things, it's always useful to test the newest and best models to have those as a benchmark. And then if you have a very specific use case, for example, I don't know, you always need to do the same customer support tickets for your e-commerce, or you need to do some kind of repetitive tasks where you use APIs for the same thing in some kind of tools that can do the job. There's a lot of models that can do a lot of these basic jobs very well, that you don't need the biggest and best model to do so. In fact, that's what many people get wrong, is they always try to get the best model, the biggest model, stuff that they burn through a bunch of tokens. Whereas for many tasks, if you have the right harnesses in place and the right guardrails, you don't need the biggest models. A lot of these local models can be used for the same tasks, like writing emails and stuff like that. You don't need Opus 4.6 to write emails or to do these simple tasks. There's no rate limits, no subscription. You can do everything offline, so you can do work in the plane wherever you need. And if you want to have an exact tutorial on how I used it for training and building some of my skills, and I use it every day on some of these local models, let me know and I'll create that for you. Or let me know in the comments if you have a specific use case and we can use it specifically on that.